without stand-up, I've realised just how much of an attention-seeking wee shite that I am. And because I can't get on stage, I've just started doing the stupidest fucking stuff of all time for attention. Like at the start of the first lockdown, I shaved my head, like shaved my beard off. At one point, I shaved one leg and made a video like I had a girlfriend. Like I just, it's one of those, like, it's got to the point now because like I'm stuck I'm living with my parents now because I've been on the road for like 2 years being like I'm just a traveling comedian, and now I very much live here, and I'm pretty sure that if my parents caught me wanking, they'd be like, "Is that for Instagram?" Like, what do you like?
God, Micky's out of here, isn't he?
I know.
He's very funny. They like giving him the likes now. It's all about the likes, Teresa. That's
it. He's one of them influencers.
Hello, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host, Connor Finn, and this is a show where I get to chat to the most interesting people that I know. On this week's episode, I was joined by the hilarious Micky Bartlett. Micky is an Irish stand-up comedian and podcaster known for his no-filter comedy and rib-tickling social content that has seen him rise through the ranks as one of Ulster's biggest breakthrough comics, appearing across media and TV, including such shows as Monumental, The Blame Game and Dave's One Night Stand. Micky joined me to discuss his journey into comedy, from school sex ed and surviving hometown hecklers to travelling the world and selling out arena tours, turning part-time job trauma into stand-up stamina, and how lockdown has inspired some questionable content across his socials. Micky was generally such a lovely, good sport to have on the show, and we had such a laugh, honestly. I always get this with comedians when they come on the show, but Micky really did just make me cackle for so much of the podcast. So hopefully you guys will really enjoy it as well. So, without further ado, please enjoy this latest episode of Finnterviews with the hilarious Micky Bartlett. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week, I have the lovely Micky Bartlett. How's it going, Micky?
How's it going? I don't know why I did that like there was going to be an applause break, like a fucking TV show.
Yeah, there's hand up salute, yeah.
straight into the camera, like.
Yeah, I feel like it's because I introduced you as lovely, and I think that maybe triggered you in something, and you're like, who
yeah,
the
man,
fuck are you talking to?
I am lovely.
Yeah. We just stop here, fuck.
Get the button.
Yeah. No, we're just talking there beforehand. I've actually got my shit set up this week, so hopefully, if anything goes wrong on the computers and anything like that, it's completely your fault. I've done the best I can, so we're just setting that as the barrier.
I should say as well to people at home, I have a bit of a cold sore, but it's not like a herpes one. I was out in the cold.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, nobody thought of herpes until you said it, man. So
well, I'm just saying it's not herpes. Like,
yeah, no.
you can't catch herpes from no sex.
Nobody told me that. But here, Micky, for the people that maybe don't know you, all right, whatever. Here, nice fucking try. Maybe tell the listeners, maybe a bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, like kind of what you're known for, your background. Because I would probably say that comedian, but I know that you do a lot of other wee bits and bobs. I mean, like. I'm just not gonna dig this grave any deeper. Last time I tried to explain to somebody exactly what they did, they were just like, yeah, and then I have my actual job, and I was like, oh, cool. So like you explain maybe.
Yeah, I'm just a stand-up. That's like, no, sorry, I used to be a stand-up, and now I'm in the house waiting for the world to start again. So I'm from a town called Lurgan, which is Northern Ireland's punchline. I'm a working class lad with working class values, and a fucking welfare state bank account because I'm broke.
And this isn't herpes. This is your school story.
It's not herpes. I swear. I'm just run down because no vitamins. There's no money. I've also got a mild hangover, so if I start getting emotional, don't worry about it. Just ignore me.
It's just cool. It's cool. Yeah. I'm just getting really into it. Yeah, I mean, in the best county in Ireland, that's what I like to say. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Fucking yeah. Swear to God, like I'm down Dublin at the moment, and whenever I try to explain to anybody, like where they ask where I'm from, like usually you'll just get like, oh, you're from like North or whatever like this. But whenever I try to explain like, oh, where actually, I'm like, oh yeah, like Armagh. Partly it just doesn't fucking exist. The amount of people have been like, oh yeah, that's so like that's like something you're like Antrim, isn't it? And I was like, no, not really. Like it's a wee kind, there. Like,
well, I remember like first time I went to Oxygen when I was like 18. I was about to start uni. I went to uni in Magee, and I was talking to this girl from Dublin, and she was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Micky." She's like, "Your name's Micky." Get out, yeah, like because obviously they think that's their name for Willies. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, we're all starting uni like in September." She's like, "Oh, where are you going to uni?" And I went Magee. She went, "Your name's Micky, and you're going to Magee. Try harder." And I was like, "What the fuck? No, I'm serious."
Yeah, and then that's when you just went to your
Sorry,
rampage.
it's so gross. I was like, I'm so ill.
This is your last ever podcast.
Yeah, it's not COVID. It's not COVID.
Yeah, and that was the last ever Oxygen because you just went a big tour to everything up afterwards.
I know exactly. I was like, fuck, it's stupid. Translation, can't have sex.
Astro with him. Yeah, and he has herpes and everything. No.
Yeah. Now I go downstairs, I'm like, my name's Penis, I'm going to your vagina. What? Nothing? Sorry.
But yeah, I suppose, yeah. I mean, at least I let you wrap that up pretty. I was like, stand-up comedian, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whenever stand-up is actually available to fucking do. And then other parts of the time, I probably recognize it more so from your kind of quiz that you do and your podcast. And in general, you have a tendency to get some kind of cheeks out online. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's what I've discovered during lockdown is that without stand-up, I've realized just how much of an attention-seeking wee shite that I am. And because I can't get on stage, I've just started doing the stupidest fucking stuff of all time for attention. Like at the start of the first lockdown, I shaved my head, like shaved my beard off. At one point, I shaved one leg and made a video like I had a girlfriend. Like I just. It's one of those, like, it's got to the point now, because, like, I'm stuck I'm living with my parents now, because I've been on the road for, like, 2 years, being, like, I'm just a traveling comedian, and now I very much live here, and I'm pretty sure that if my parents caught me wanking, they'd be like, is that for Instagram? Like, what do you like?
God, Micky's out of here, isn't he?
I know.
He's very funny. They like giving him the likes now. It's all about the likes trees, and that's
it. He's one of them influencers.
Remember back in our day we didn't have influenzas. Oh Jesus. But yeah, no, like I remember that's even like, jeez, wait, is my audio cutting out there? Can you hear me?
Oh, you're good.
Oh jeez, all right. Oh, sorry. Maybe that was just me cutting myself out there. I was like, oh, excuse me. No, but like I suppose that was one of the things like over lockdown yourself as well. Like obviously loads of our ones as well. Like all my siblings, we had all moved back to the house and just turned into like very heavily casually drinking like most days of the week because you're stocking up and you just have like this fridge full, and obviously everybody's like, I'm the youngest, I'm 22, my oldest one like 27 or maybe just turned 28, but like between about 4 of us like in the house, it just was getting a bit intense. And then when everybody's getting to the pub quizzes, that's when we kind of started listening more. As I think to yourself, I'd like come into the back room, and then the next thing you find yourself like stumbling out to the kitchen being like, is there any crisp, Mum?
I know that I was listening to that first one when the weather was great. I was drinking, and I drink loads anyway, but it was just so much. And it would get to the point where like Connor and I would do a podcast, and this is the first time it's happened in ages. We record our podcast on a Monday, and I was always hungover. And today it was my dad's birthday yesterday, so we were like, let's have a few, and then it was 3:00 in the morning. We're fucking arm wrestling, and it's like on my own podcast today, Connor's asked me all these questions, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, but I just don't care. Because I'm 33 now, so the hangovers hit you like a ton of bricks, and I'm just like, this is fucking horrible.
You're like, you're lucky that I made it here in one piece, like.
I know. This is like, if you'd have been like, here, can you come meet me to do a podcast? I'd be like, Connor, go fuck yourself.
I'm going.
Yeah. Every part is an adventure.
Yeah, Jesus, it's like, don't stop recording.
Yeah.
This is gold, baby. Won't have to shave my legs anymore online.
I know. We've got to be a huge star, kid, and just shave that one leg, man.
Micky's back. He shit himself on camera, and everything's just been going uphill.
It was brilliant. 400 likes, but
But I suppose, I mean, like, first and foremost, like, obviously, nowadays, it's obviously a bit shite with everything being locked down. I imagine with a lot of comedians, like, even kind of ones I've been chatting to recently, like, it's, yeah, everybody's kind of having to, like, resort to different things. Like, I mean, you're having to resort to fucking chatting to me on the internet, like, so fucking, like, I mean, the bar is...
I would have done it anyway. You're a cool guy.
Oh, no, you'd have to pay for that one, you see. But I suppose, like, when things weren't as horrendous as this, like, bring us back to, like, when you first kind of got into comedy and stand-up. Like, was it something that you'd always, like, gravitated towards, or, like, did you ever have, like, you know, potentially another path in mind, I suppose?
Not really. It was always going to be stand-up, I think. I remember, like, whenever we got, like, our sex education in school, and I don't know if it happened the same with you, but, like, there was a point where all the guys and the girls were watching a video together, and then it was, like, the girl on the tape, like, looked up to where the teacher had been standing beside the TV, and she was like, "We're just going to take the girls through next door and tell them what the fuck's going to happen to them. You stay in here with Kevin on the video." And it was like, one of the guys in my class had smoked a joint during lunchtime and was stoned as fuck. And I remember, like, sorry, I remember at one point the guy on the tape, like, looked down the lens and was like, "You'll know what to do." And my mate went, "Whoa." And I was like, I remember thinking at that point, this is going to be in my stand-up. So, like, I'd already been thinking about it before that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was always going to be that. And then it was kind of like, went through school, and when I was about to do my A-levels, I knew then I wanted to do stand-up. I wanted to go to uni and study theatre because I thought, well, that'll get me into doing comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I went to uni. Didn't open a book for 3 years. Like, just didn't fucking do anything. Was just drunk trying to get off of people. And then, like, in my final year at uni, I was like, shit, I was supposed to do stand-up. So I went and booked an open spot in the Empire, and I just thought, right, if this goes well,
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it did, and that was kind of it. So there's never really been, which is a shame now, because now I'm at a stage where I'm like, there's no stand-up on. I've gone looking for jobs, and I've realized that, like, 12 years as a comedian, I am qualified for absolutely fuck all. Like, like, I can't even type. Like, I've definitely gotten thicker as I've got older, and I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck to do now. Like,
oh, here, you're preaching to the choir. Like, I was the exact same. Like, I went up to, didn't go to McGee, but went to Coleraine campus, University of Ulster.
Yeah.
Fucking sure. I did media, like, and they literally tell you, like, within your first year, they're like, yeah, like, so like, this is really good, like, but, like, you will need to get, like, experience, like, other than the course, because, like, this actually doesn't count for anything. You're being like, sorry, what?
I remember being, like, my first day at uni, because they made us, like, audition. Like, it was, like,
to get into uni.
To get into uni, right? Because they were trying to, like, basically, it was sold to us like it was a really practical course. It was mostly about, like, acting and writing, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to be a comedian, or, like, you know, just a movie star, or whatever.
One or the other.
One or the other. Either way. I'll probably do comedy first, movie star second, but either way. And then, like, the first day, the lecturer was like, if you've come here to, like, learn how to be an actor, you're in the wrong course. And I was like, well, I've already fucking paid you. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like going to Subway and them handing you a burger, and you're like, wait, what? Like, oh yeah, like, this became McDonald's 5 minutes ago.
I remember we got told about we should just join societies within, like, this is like our first, like, introduction class. Yeah. They're telling us about, like, oh yeah, like, just join society. Like, our head, like, year was being like, you should join this one. It used to be on when I was studying here, it was called the Chemistry Society. It was like, basically there's a brewing club for everybody that was, like, passed out in the port. And I was like, sorry, what? And then they talked about, like, yeah, as well, there's going to be a huge thing of, like, cozy sectarianism up here. So they're like, so just get used to that every now and then. Just don't take anything in the shoulder. And I'm like, man, like, okay. Like, you forget where I'm from. Like, geez, that's all I've been reminded of. Do you know what I mean? That's all I've been living off for the last couple of years. Like, I'm right in my element.
I'm ready for this shit. I've been training for it.
But that was it. So yeah, so initially started out, thought you were going to be an actor, and then just decided that was like, well, I suppose, like, you always kind of had that, like, you know, I don't think I've
But
heard anybody that I've talked to yet been like literally in class going like, oh, this actually be really funny and like give me 10 years time. Like
yeah, it was strange because it was like there was a point where I think I did like the stupid awards for our school formal, like the sort of
yeah.
daft like fucking I don't know the ketchup award because it'll go with anything or that sort of whatever. And one of my teachers came down and was like, you should really like think about getting into stand up comedy. And I was like finally somebody's like said this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was like even I think it's kind of common with a lot of comedians. A lot of comedians like it feels like you're coming out because you have to be like I want to be a comedian because it's so arrogant like just like for me to be like no I'm not going to like be in society. I'm going to make society laugh and I deserve the money like.
Yeah, I suppose like that's half the battle of it as well. Do you know what I mean? Nobody talks about the struggle, like I'm just like trying to come out as a comedian.
Just trying to come out of it. Like that was the first bit. It was like the first step, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm ready. I'm me now. I feel whole.
Yeah, we're ready to go, guys. Fucking bring it on. But like,
Yeah.
I suppose like even that, like, do you know what I mean? Fucking if I came back home and was like, guys, think gonna be a comedian. Like, do you know what I mean? I think there's like the worst society to be around where like everybody's just being like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Oh yeah, I was at a point where like my mad be like Michael. I'm like, it's Mickey. Michael's my dead name. Like,
Jesus. This
yeah, that was kind of like
right now.
yeah, that was kind of the start of it, and then it was just yeah, I just kept trying to like, I'll just see how far I can get before I have to stop. Do you know what I mean?
Before
like,
somebody stops you, yeah.
Yeah, it was like before somebody catches on, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I was like, I'll just keep seeing get away with it. And then 2020, I was like, this is the year. This is it. We're smashing it. And then March 16th rolled around. It was like, what? Nothing. All right. Fucking brilliant. Like,
cheers, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. I was actually
it was just all my hopes and dreams. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Actually, I was actually looking for some lax time. I was getting a bit like too hectic there for a wee hot second.
There was a point where I remember thinking at the start of last year, I was like, fuck, I'd love a year off comedy. And then the world ended. And I was like, I didn't mean that much year off. Like, I didn't mean a year off all experiences. Like,
the power that I manifest here, Jesus Christ! Like,
yeah, there was a point where like I heard someone talking about like Elon Musk reckons we live in a simulation, and I was like, well, my one's broken. If this is like, if this is my matrix, it's fucking sucks.
I want a refund by.
Yeah, can you take the disc out and blow it, and put it back in because this is like.
But I suppose like as well like. Funny enough, like the first time I actually saw you, I don't know if you like actually I don't know why I was like I don't know if you remember this. But I have seen you stand up before, like, but it was a very weird situation. I was about to ask about your inspiration next, but I was like, you know what, I kind of want to take you back to this point, because I feel like the more like comedians I interview, the more they kind of get to understand like the weird like the random kind of shit that you're thrown into. I don't know if you remember it was about, what was it, 2 years ago, up in about, was it like Ballyclare or something? These ones, Delphi Media, were filming a Netflix show called Flinch.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, yeah, I'll like go in, I'll do a bit of the audience and things. It wasn't until I went to do that be the audience in it or whatever like this that I realized that stand-ups like make their own like scripts, but like they don't like just like go off the cuff and like make up new shit every single time. It's like they make a show. And I'll never forget like the first time that like I went there, I was like, me and my mates, we were like, right, this is gonna be fucking freezing. We were like smuggling in some wee drinks and all like this as well, because we're like, oh, we're gonna have a great wee day of it. Going to see you, hilarious. Went to this thing, took way too long. Everybody's freezing their arses off, but they're like, can you come back tomorrow? I was like, grand, no worries at all. We were the only ones that came back.
Man, that was the thing that like, so because like I've done like a bunch of TV warm-ups.
Yeah.
And that was the one show where I was like, until it was like maybe the second last episode, I was like, it's the same people. Like, nobody told me.
No.
No one told me. They're like, oh, they're all different. It's a new audience, And I was like, why am I down on my arse every day? Like, why are these jokes not fucking working? And I was like, oh, because you've just asked the same people to come back in different clothes because nobody fucking knows you're making this show.
Literally, we came back the next day, but like I remember just coming in, sitting down. It was like in this wee like tent thing outside this like barnyard, and like it was the first time I think we had purposely like sat like near like up the wee front wherever, like we know how this is gonna go now. Oh, we're gonna get to me and laugh, and then we're gonna go in, we're gonna laugh at some other stuff. And never had I seen somebody's like face so quickly analyze or even go like, fuck.
Because I remember like that's the first day. Were you there for the very first day where like it ran? Like,
went on for about 12 hours. Yeah. And they were getting like fucking like shuttle buses to get ones out and all. Because they had to like pump in like warm air because everybody fucking got hypothermia. Yeah.
There was a point where like at about like 9:30 at night, I was like, can I leave? Because I can't like if they were like shit, everyone's getting a bit gloomy, bring in the warm-up guy after 12 hours, I'd be like $4,000 then. Like, because I'm going to need to go buy a load of cocaine to get these people cheered up. Like, it's such a fucking thankless task. I hate it so much.
Oh god. But yeah, I think that was like from like kind of when you're saying, you know what I mean, like this, like where you're starting out and whatever, like this, like that was like the first time that I kind of properly got into. But like I remember, excuse me, that was another night. But I suppose like that kind of gave me like the first kind of like thing that I was like, fuck, this lad is really fucking funny. And then you know what I mean, you're talking about like towns around my area that I knew, like lads and stuff from my school were going to, but like I always kind of think it's funny that like a big thing, like obviously is like you're like the like Lurgan is like your comic, do you know what I mean? Like and like a lot of the comedians I talk to, like I feel like it's like a lot around their area gives, you know, a lot of fucking content for like the weird shit that goes on. But like, is there any particular like, you know, inspiration behind like the humor or like anything, like anybody that particularly influences you, or like that's what I was kind of wondering, because I think there's some things that like whenever like I see like started, you know, following your stuff online after that or whatever, that was just like, this man's just got direct line to my funny, but when like not even that, like this was before the nudes anyways, like
oh yeah. I don't know, I think like because I come from like a really funny family. So like I grew up around really, really funny people, and it's like, especially like my dad's side are really funny, really good storytellers, and my mum's side are just slagging bastards. So it was like my entire upbringing was just like I can hold court, and if you interrupt me, I'll fucking destroy you. So that was kind of just like that, and then I just loved stand up because I remember like, you know, my dad waking me up one night and we watched Billy, like an audience with Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if you've seen it. It's the one where he does this bit about waterproof trousers for incontinent people, and this guy's like pissing himself all night, and he ends up walking around with really heavy legs. And I remember my dad was like howling, and I was thinking, how do you do that? Like, you know, like really, and I was really young, just being like, how the fuck do you? So I think like that, like just the people like in my family are funny anyway. And then as I got older, like more and more comedians were just sort of huge inspirations and stuff. When it comes to stuff that goes on around me, it's kind of like I was a wee bit of a recluse when I was younger. It's only now that I'm like, it was when I realized how comfortable I got with lockdown. I was like, oh, that's because this is what I did when I was a kid. Like I just sat in the house. Like,
God, that's really familiar.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same fucking bedroom and everything. Like, just.
It's like PTSD now. You're
just stirred up an Alicia Silverstone poster. Like, remember?
But it was so it was the kind of like their obviously family upbringing. That was kind of like what first sparked it off for you, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then see, like I feel like our family are like good at, but like I don't know what it is. Like I feel like when anybody tries to be funny like or whatever like this in our family, it's like the reason that I know that I definitely couldn't be a stand-up is because like there's only so many times that like our family just get brutal, especially when you start drinking. Like everybody's like really good crack around each other, but there's like everybody knows each other well enough that they're not afraid to like hit you where it hurts with it. So it's like dangerous territory being around like any of our ones whenever it's like, you know, everybody's starting rambling into each other. That's why that's why I just say to talk to people on the internet. I'm like, they'll show them that I'm funny.
And you can't hit me.
Now who's laughing? And then the WhatsApp blows up and be like, here, yeah, nice one, fucking hashtag influencer, go fuck yourself, Connor. No, I'm in Dublin now. No, like, I'd made it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm paying $1,000 a month for a bed, so
I'll let you know. My media degree came very much in handy.
Because now I work at a newsagents. So
yeah, literally. We don't talk about that. But I suppose like before like kind of like this whole like obviously career in like comedy and all your kind of stand-ups, I mean, between whatever like doing your bits online, doing your bits style, going into tents and performing to, you know, random like kids before TV shows, like what was there like any kind of character building jobs I suppose that you had like growing up that maybe like informed the kind of person you are today? Like, do you know what I mean with character building, like those kind of ones that like humble you, well the ones that are shit enough that like you kind of like realize, I think I could do a wee bit better than this.
Yeah. Oh, loads of them. Like
fantastic.
I got a job once when I was 14, working in like a local petrol station. Yeah, highly illegal. And I lasted, I think, a day and a half. So this guy was giving us like £2 an hour or something like that. So I was going home with like 14 quid. You're like, fucking 14 quid. Or maybe 28 on a weekend. And I was basically like just filling up people's cars with petrol, whatever else. And then at one point, the guy that owned the place was like unblocking a drain, excuse me, with like his bare hands, like just lifting shite out of a drain. And me and my friend were like watching him doing it, and he's just like lifting all this shite out. And he went, I wouldn't expect you boys to do anything I wouldn't do myself. And I was like, for £2 an hour, I'm not doing that. Like, fuck you. And then, so that was like, I didn't re-enter the workforce then until it was legal. And I worked in a Moy Park chicken factory for again.
Oh
like,
no!
Like,
did you?
Fuck me, like 3 weekends. And I remember like it was me and my friend, like we both got hired like not full time, but like permanent jobs. And our jobs were supposed to be put stuff in boxes and close the boxes, and then that was it. But like one of the supervisors thought we were just temps. So we ended up like on the second day there, and again hungover, like putting chicken kebabs together.
Yeah.
And I remember like sitting there, and it was like a pink sheet would come out, and my job was to put garlic, like a frozen stick of garlic butter, in the middle of the pink sheet, and then my mate was like here, and it would go through another pink sheet and go over the top of the butter.
Yeah.
And his job was to like smush it down. And it smelled like halitosis. It just smelled like really bad breath. And I was like, this can't be a fucking... This is... There's bound to be a machine can do this. Like, this is fucking awful. And then I got a job in Dunn's, and I like worked in retail from like where I was 16 until I left uni. And again, absolutely fucking hated that. Like...
Which one were you? The Dunn's in the one in Portadown?
And the one in Rushmere and Craven, and then the one in Portadown. So I worked in the one in Rushmere, and basically it was there for about 2 years, I think. And what had happened was there was this manager came in, and she hated me. Like she just hated me. And I spent like about 6 months kind of sucking up to her to be like her mate.
Yeah.
And because again, it's a comedian thing. I can't stand it when people don't like me. Do you know what I mean? I'm like a creative love because I wasn't punked enough. So I eventually like sucked up to this woman, and then she left, and her fucking like arch nemesis took over her job, and then found out that I was like her, and I was like, fuck, I'm back to square one with this cunt that hates me. And I remember like she just, no matter what happened, she was just always telling me off, like constantly, like down. And I got a written warning for something I didn't do, and I was like, I feel like one of the fucking Guildford Four here. This is like this is getting beyond a joke. So like,
I mean, the parallels, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Fucking, they killed Giuseppe Man. Like, and then I like applied for the job in Duns and Portadown, thinking they're going to just phone across and be like, "What's this guy like?" And I got the job, and I was like, like getting away with this shit. But yeah, I think the whole experience of working in retail for me, I was just constantly going like, "But why?" Like anytime I was told to do something, I was like, but why? Like, and then I remember I was working in Next, and I think every job I've had, bar one, I've literally gone fuck it and just walked out. Like I've just left. And I was in next one day during one of the crazy Boxing Day sales.
Oh, Frey, Jesus.
But it was awful, and it was like we had to you're restocking these like shelves and stuff like with clothes and whatever else. But people are buying them so quick, you're just doing it all day.
Yeah.
And at one point, it was so busy, I couldn't get like a reel out onto the shop, so I just started hanging the clothes like on my belt and carrying as much as I could out to the shop. And as I was walking, two women approached me from either side and started looking for sizes, like on my fucking belt. And I was like, nah, like I'm gone.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You're just trying to work around. She works hard for the money.
Yeah, but it was just like it's one of those things. I think it kind of shapes you as a stand-up as well because you're constantly being heckled. But you can't do anything about it. Do you know what I mean?
Like, missus, if you're going to be going around the belt, slip in a fiver at least. Like, come
exactly.
on.
Yeah, slip in a finger. Fucking hell, do anything. Like, because like you were constantly going home like with a customer complaining, and you're going, I should have said this, and I should have said that, and I should have said this. And now as a stand-up, when somebody heckles me, I'm just fucking thinking about that bitch with the socks or something. Like, I fuck that. Like,
yeah, it's completely unrelated. It's just redirected anger. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, me, I didn't even say anything. Oh, fucking big lads.
I know. Yeah. There's a bunch of those, and then like I did a year in the civil service in Belfast as well, where I worked in a dole office, and that was a proper fucking like, oh, here I am, really, really smart.
I was wondering where you're going to go with this. I was going to be like, really, really fucking depressed. Oh, smart.
Really? Not even like I was so like I thought I was a smart person until I realized I filled in the application form for the wrong job. So I ended up working.
Wait, what did you apply for?
So I thought I was applying for like an admin assistant, like I would do, have a fucking desk and be all, yes, of course, 2 seconds, whatever. And I ended up applying for it was basically like an admin assistant's assistant. So like it was literally the fucking bottom rung job you can get in the civil service. Like I think there were 7 of us doing enough work for 2 people.
Yeah.
So it was the best year of my life. Like, I swear, I was on a temporary contract. The day I left, I was like, if you guys let me keep this job, I'll give up on all my dreams. Like, I don't care. This is fucking perfect. Like, we used to, there'd be like, you basically like they would deliver mail. You would like put the mail in a pigeonhole, and then put it in a bucket, and then be like, do you want to bring that to Joan? And the other guy would be like, yep. And then there was times where like they would say, okay, just watch the back door and make sure no one comes in. And you're like, what if anybody tries to come in? They're like, well, you can't stop them because you're not a security guard. So just watch the door then. And I'm like, just watch it. Like, no, like one day I Tipex out a crossword just so I could do it again. Like I was that bored. It's harder than you think as well, but you have to like not see the answers as you're doing it. But we used to like, there was one guy I worked with, a guy called Gary, who was like, he was a university graduate as well. He made the same mistake. And we used to play games of like, how fucked up can you get your lunchtime? Like, you just go to the pub for an hour and come back mangled and nobody noticed or gave a fuck. Like, I think that was the last proper job I had. That was about 2010, 2011. But to this day, I still miss it.
To this day, I'm still dreaming about, Tipex and those crosswords.
I wake up in the middle of the night, just be like, oh, flexi time, whoa. I'm all wet, like, oh.
I'm recording and we're on in slide. No, but like I suppose like yeah, I feel like if I was ever in like Moy Park, Jesus Christ, that'd be my dad's like favorite job that anybody ever done. Like that man fucking goes to Moy Park like more than fucking I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like he goes to more than he goes to mass, like, and he always come back home, like. So yeah, I imagine going from seeing somebody scooping out like dirt from like a fucking hole in the ground, slapping chicken, to just getting like harassed by like pensioners and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It kind of builds you up with a bit of resilience, like.
Yeah, 100%. Like you just end up with that, which like it's always been a weird thing where like I've always said that. If I could manage to not have to go back into retail, like if I made enough money through comedy to not have to work in Next or Duns again, I'd be like, well, I've made it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if I'm fucking 80 and on a cruise ship with a dicky bow being like, try that, I'd still be like, this is fucking way better than Duns.
Yeah, I think I realized like what I kind of did similar ones. Like I was used to pick strawberries. Just the first one was getting like this was like my uncle, like my dad's kind of thing, like sitting in strawberry fields, absolutely turned me off. And like you're working like fucking 2 weeks in a row doing like 6 to 6, and they give you 20 quid, and you're being like 6 cool, yeah. And I went from that, went into like Domino's, and thought it was like amazing, getting 3.79 an hour to fucking burn myself on an oven every single day. And then like I've just like stepped it up every bit since. But like as soon as I got into like an office, I was just like, lads, like do people know do people know this like an option? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Like my first one was in this like animation studio that was like which sounds kind of fancy, but like absolutely like I have no idea how fucking just like Chad shit to get into it. But basically what I would have done, I'd have like didn't do any animation. I kind of wanted the admin stuff and like basically, you know, move bits about. But I was doing that while watching like Conan O'Brien in the corner being like, surely surely shouldn't be in this role now, right now. Like, and looking back at it and being like that was like the point where I was like, yeah, no, this is why I need to keep up from here. Like,
Aye. Yeah, that's now the bottom level you'll accept. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Once you've been like told by a customer, you know, when you're like trying to make a coffee, it's like that you should shove a table up your ass. I'm pretty sure I was like, oh, don't think servicing's just really for me now. Like,
yeah,
not getting paid nearly enough to do that. Like,
exactly. I had a call center job once as well. Fuck, I forgot about that. When I just left uni, and there was a day where like a mate of mine who lived around the corner, I would like give him a lift to work. And he came down to my desk one day and he's like, mate, I need to go home. I've just started crying on the toilet. Like, I'm just fucking, this job's so stressful and it's shit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you crying? Yeah. And then like about a week, about a week later, man, I'm in the toilet, like fucking bawling my eyes out. Like, this is fucking horrible. I hear someone come into the cubicle and I hear this like, I was like, Shane? He was like, Mick? And we're both like, like, fuck this job. We're both again, just like, nah, like, just went for a smoke, never came back. Like,
so you still feel like you need to get to that liberating point. Like, none of the jobs I've done so far, because I'm always shitting and I'm like, I'm gonna have to come back just one day, you motherfucker.
I know.
I feel like I need to have one of those experiences. I mean, I've been like made redundant, like, so I suppose that counts, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I remember like coming back from that call center and being like, listen, the phone's going to be ringing all day. They're going to be looking at me. Don't answer it. Like, I'm like, just don't fucking do it. But yeah, I think that the worst part is that even if I have to go looking for a job, if I have to do my CV up, I'm going to have to get him a list of jobs from 10 years ago that I technically got sacked from, like every one, because I just left. Like,
yeah, and then it's like, would you like to explain like the gap in your resume? And it's like, I'm actually a comedian. Oh, you're a comedian.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they'll be like, so tell us one of your jokes, and you'll be like, so airplane food's weird. Right, guys? why is it all taste the same?
I remember my there was Moray Park was
yeah. Do you ever like fucking someone and then no, not that one.
But I suppose like I mean I think you kind of need those jobs as well, just to fucking like humble yourself enough, because like, do you know what I mean? Like those are the wee fires under your arse to be like, yeah, do you know what? I think I'm all right. I know, probably doing better. I got to stand up here and just get heckled for people, you know. But then I can give it back. Yeah. Nobody's going to tell me off for doing it.
I would rather stand on stage dying on my arse for an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is the most horrible feeling of all time. But I'm like, it's still better than like, hi sir, we you missold some PPE or PPI, whatever the fucking. No, PPE is a mask. Yeah.
That's what I said. What are you saying? But I suppose maybe that leads me on to like have there been any like from, you know, obviously getting into then this career that like you've been like able to travel around and like you've been fucking like everywhere with this as well, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have there been any like major standout moments that maybe like came from this like, you know, whole realm of entertainment that like, you know, you back in like, you know, your Moray Park days, you know, probably never thought, you know, could have happened. Maybe it's this right now. Like, I don't want to say
yeah,
anything,
definitely.
Like, like a lot of guests I get, like, you know, they'll come on here and then things tend to kind of plateau because like there's, you know what I mean, glass ceiling, like that kind of way. But like, it's up to yourself. Yeah. Like there may be something else. Like.
Yeah.
It is freezing.
Like, There's been loads of like it's kind of like with stand up. It doesn't take too long before you meet someone you recognize from TV. Do you know what I mean? Like within a year, you'll be working with someone who's probably a millionaire, and you're doing the same gig or the same job. So you start being like, let's go in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? And then 10 years later, you're like, well, it's dead in one direction. And but it's been like I've been really lucky as well. Like I've done some fucking absolutely class gigs. Like I remember doing the Grand Opera House for it was Dave's one night stand. Dave used to have like a stand up show. And I was like the TV warm up, but also did like a 10-minute set on the show. And it was with like Paddy Keelty, Mike Wilmot, and Jim Owen. So like 3 fucking amazing comedians. Yeah. And I blew the roof off the place, and I was like, fuck. Like, and they were like putting me up in the Europa Hotel and stuff, and I was like, this is fucking unbelievable. And then I ended up like doing the Odyssey as it was back then, you know. I'm important with the SSC. They used to call it the Odyssey. But I did support for Paddy Keelty on that, so it was like 6,500 people.
Jesus.
And like getting an applause break in a room that big, and you're just like fucking And then the promoter goes, "There's your money." It was 50 quid. You're like, well, I got fucked really hard.
Guys didn't even drop my socials at the end of it.
Exactly, yeah. I know.
DVD.
Yeah. But yes, so there's been like a bunch of them. Like I've been lucky to be able to like tour all over the world and stuff. So like I've done shows in New York and Australia, and I did like a 2-week run around Eastern Europe, where like I came off stage in Serbia going, am I the funniest person on the planet? Because that was unbelievable. And like it's such a shame, because it's like it literally is stand-up comedy when it's going well. It's like it's the best job in the world, and I'm like, not enough people even fucking know how good this job is. And then the flip side is that there's a bunch of people who are just fucking lunatics who think they're funny, and you're like, you can't do it. You're like, no, it's not for you. It's not for you. Fuck off. Like, but yeah,
and if you don't see any of the lunatics, you are the lunatic doing it. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, there's been so many times like where I've gone, am I one of the mental ones? Like, because you see people all the time who like completely bomb, like just die on stage and come off like, that was great, and you're like, what fucking room were you in? And then I come off stage being like, whoa, that was great. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, is it? Was it not? Was it shit?
The imposter syndrome sets in.
Yeah,
again.
100%. As soon as you put the mic back in the stand, you're like, I hit myself.
Like, no, shit, better note some of those signs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Note to self, don't kill yourself today. Okay. Like,
Jesus Christ. Like, have there been any, like, is there any like venue or any kind of like area that you've done that's been like the best so far that like maybe you didn't expect to be like the best, like as like I know like fucking like Ballyvogue?
Yeah, well it just depends. Like I remember one night doing like weirdly doing a really kind of obscure gig in like Cushion Doll, and it was fucking brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like there's times you'll walk in their room and you automatically are like, oh, this is gonna suck. Like this, and it was unbelievable. And like, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, the Eastern European tour was fucking weird. Like Serbia was a weird place to do a gig.
Yeah, how do you make like relatable content for the?
Well, man, that was the thing. Like... What was crazy about it was like because like in a lot of those countries they have such a like they speak better English than me and you. Like they've got they're so fucking well educated. And,
yeah. All right, fucking tell me how you really feel.
No, not like you fucking spat. But like, they've got like they don't have much stand up.
Yeah,
so it's only been like a popular thing at the time. It was only popular out there for like maybe 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
so if you're halfway good at it, they're like, "This dude's unbelievable." And then especially because it was Serbia as well. I mean, they're just fucking drunken Russians, so like they're all pissed, and I'm just telling stories. So it was like. It was amazing. I remember like there was one really like, do you know what? This sounds awful. What you would think a Russian model looks like big fake lips, big fake tits.
Yeah.
I was like the whole way through
it. Was just pouting at you.
Yeah, and I was like, does she hate this or something? And then our mate was like, oh no, she can't laugh. She just had her face done. Like, and I was like, what the fuck, man? So yeah, there's some gigs like that where you just walk away being like, "Fucking hell, this is amazing." Yeah, like doing gigs in Romania and it's crazy. And then the flip side is you go to a gig in your own back garden and you're like, "Why does everybody hate me here?" You know what I mean? Like you're like everyone's like, "Oh, you do Lurgan Proud, mate." Then you get on stage and Lurgan like, "Fuck up." You're like,
Yeah, I suppose that kind of brings me like onto like the flip side. Like, have there been any like like stand out fucking like horror stories that like came from like obviously being in this kind of millions? Oh, well,
so many.
perfect.
Like
I'm recording, so work away.
Yeah, but there's so many. Like I remember, like I've had the worst the worst death I ever had was the first death I've ever had. So I think that's weirdly been lucky. But like ones I've had past that. I remember one time I was doing a gig in the Black Box in Belfast, and I'd just done warm up for the Blame game.
Yeah.
And then was running around the Black Box to do another show, and I was like, "This is great! Like I'm doubling up on what I'm doing. 2 gigs in one night. I'm making like fucking 800 quid."
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking making like it's a month's wages in my old job. Like this is fucking class. And I just on the Blame game thing smashed it, and I was like, right, I'll just do that set here because it's fucking foolproof. And every time I got to the end, like got to the punchline or the end of a joke, this woman would just go, "No, no."
What the fuck?
Man, usually when you die on your ass, right, and other comedians see it, they're like, "Oh my god, that was so funny! You ate a massive pile of shit." But this went so badly, the other comedians were like, "Mate, are you all right? Like, are you need a beer?" Like, there's been like the time I did a gig in Lurgan, and some guy from the audience, like, I was in the toilet, and he grabbed me by the neck, and he went, "If you ever make fun of my niece again, I'll fucking kill you." And I was like, "Who's your niece?" And he went, "She wasn't here, but that's not the fucking point." And I was like, that is very much the point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I remember, like, he still had his cock out as well. I remember thinking his cock was huge, and I remember thinking I was like, I hope he just punches me, because if he hits me with that, he kill me. Like, there's been so many deaths around my own hometown that, like, actually, like, I got into an argument on Facebook on Friday night because there's a guy, like a local guy in Lurgan, who's really proud of Lurgan.
Yeah.
And he's convinced that the BBC are like out to slag Lurgan off. And he's like, the people of Lurgan are great, the people of Lurgan are special, blah, blah, blah. And then he like shared one of my Facebook posts and was calling me a cunt for how Lurgan gets treated. And I'm like, excuse me a second. You've gone out of your way to share my image on the internet, calling me a cunt, and you think I'm a cunt? Like, you know what I mean? But the worst one I ever had was like the first one was, so I'd done stand up I think 3 times at this point. So I'd done like a competition in the university. I'd done a set for my actual degree course. And then done the Empire. So I was like, right, cool, I'm a comedian now. And we're having this like I know after 3 gigs.
It's sorted.
So, yeah, 2 weeks I'm like, just give me the money now and I'll work it up. But we were doing this like a talent show, like a fucking cabaret show thing at uni. And I had to go on after this girl who sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow exquisitely. Like, it was fucking beautiful, right? So she's like, "Over the rainbow," and everybody's fucking crying. And then it's like, now for a bit of comedy, I come on like, "Yeah, what's up, motherfuckers?" Right? And I had new stuff because I thought, well, I'm a great comedian now. I'll just write some new shit. And I was doing so badly that like the MC had gone off and got changed into a full red leather catsuit and a blonde wig because he was going to do like a Britney Spears sketch, right? I am eating a bag of dicks. Like, it just, nothing was working. And I was just like, I could hear myself swallowing. Like, do you know what I mean? It was so fucking lonely. And all my friends are just like, what's he fucking doing? The MC comes over, literally took the microphone out of my hand and just started this sketch, right? He didn't even start a sketch. He just took the microphone out of my hand. And then I'm like it was like a Mean Girls moment. Like, the whole fucking uni was just staring at me. And I'm like, fuck it. And I walk out of the room and I could just hear my own feet on the floor, like fucking. And then the door closed behind me, and from the room I just hear bow, bow, bow. Like, and it was just like, it was fucking awful. And it's one of those ones where like, that felt so bad. No subsequent death has been. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I can laugh at the other ones, but that one I'm still like, fuck, that was rough. Like,
I mean, to be fair now, like you're putting between a rock and a hard place. Like really, they're like between a Britney Spears impersonation
yeah,
and a girl singing fucking like Dorothy. Like,
that's the thing. It's like
you were never gonna make it. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's the thing. It's the kind of lesson I learned really early as well. It's like if you're going to watch stand up, it has to be just stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're on with a musical act, or if you're even sometimes doing TV warm ups, it's like you get one go at it, and if like if it goes badly, it's just fucking a lot of times it's not your fault. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time,
Yeah.
like, someone's gone, "Oh, we should get a comedian," and you're like, "You shouldn't," but I need the money. Let's go.
Yeah, I've heard like from other ones, like I had Belfast lad on Cormac McDavid, and he was
Sorry.
talking about like he was invited or whatever to do some kind of like show like just in like this restaurant in Belfast, and like similarly I didn't realize this, that like people would just like book comedy nights but just like give zero fucking context, and
But
he was saying about like literally he came
I was
in
on that
and they
lineup.
I was about to explain it to you. You were being like, man, I ain't fucking there.
No,
Yeah. The one where it was
I
in a restaurant and nobody knew that was a comedy night.
yeah, and there was it was in what was the name of the restaurant in Belfast? Because they had like a big decorative tree like in the middle of the room, and I was
Oh,
like,
it's not
I might be one of the
house.
first yeah, it was in a house, and I was like, because I got to the stage where like I stopped answering the phone to Cormac. I was like, because again, it was like it wasn't his fault. People would like want to be on a comedy. He'd be like, "Cool, I'll book some comedians," and then we'd turn up and they'd be like, "Do you have your own microphone?" You're like, "No, we're not a fucking traveling band." Like,
I've only got my like Britney costume and
yeah,
like do you know what I mean?
exactly. Like,
Around
oh
this
yeah,
shit,
we normally have, but the roadie took the day off. So what? Yeah, that was a gig. There was me, Cormac. Who else was there? William Thompson, James McKegney, and somebody. So there's 5 comedians, and we had the whole entire show finished in 15 minutes. Like it was fucking shocking.
Everybody had a minute hot take, and then they're like,
Yeah.
get out.
It was just like because normally you would do like everyone would be like a 10 minute set of 15 minute, and then I do half an hour and a break in the middle, and we were just like fucking just go just like
Yeah. We already spent half hour like fucking like pay on like those like 10 pound Haverleys at the sound there.
Yeah,
And you're
exactly,
like,
man.
get out.
and there's nothing worse than like watching people being forced comedy because they get so angry. They're just like, what the fuck is like? It's one of like people can ignore a musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they're just so angry that they can't have a conversation because you're like, so my dad's a bit of a character. Like,
Yeah, you're trying to get some like crowd work off them and everything. They're being like,
yeah,
"Oh, what'd you order? A steak. Oh,
exactly.
very good."
What are the 2 courses? What's for dessert? Her.
See, this is like the stuff that you don't hear about. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
here's me glamorizing the comedian's lifestyle, but like nobody tells you about, getting like, near beat up by like some guy with a huge dick in Lurgan toilets, and just like
Yeah,
do
it's,
have to
it's
stand
not it's not all cocaine and hookers. You know what I mean?
Now they tell me, God.
Yeah.
But I suppose like as well from there, like you, as you said, like you've been able to do like so many of these like different experiences, whether it's been on like TV stand-ups, whether it's been in fucking like traveling across the world, like doing like the most random like stand-up things here or there. Like it's taking you from place to place, and like it just seems like you've been already ticking off quite a few fucking bucket lists already. But like, is there anything that like there's particular goals that you're like yet to achieve yet? Like, is there any like future plans that you're like, right, that is like one that like I need to get out of there? Like,
It's I don't know. It's kind of weird because like because like 2020 was supposed to be a belter. Like,
yeah,
so like the goal would be just to get that diary filled again.
yeah,
Time because I was supposed to like the plan was I was finishing off a tour of Northern Ireland. Then April I was supposed to be over in the UK doing like just a bunch of comedy clubs. Then I was going to Australia for May. Coming back from Australia, getting my Edinburgh Fringe show together like June, July time. Going and doing the Edinburgh Fringe in in August. Going back to Australia in September. Come back from Australia, do the Ulster Hall, then like tour around fucking Northern Ireland again for the winter. And then I started recording a podcast with Connor Keys at 4 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock it was all cancelled. Like
Jesus Christ.
in an hour,
Fucking
it just
hell.
fucking nah. Like I'm like, what the fuck?
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, I was like, I just bought a car. I just bought a fucking car. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal at the minute would just be to try and get just get those shows going again, because I've got the Ulster Halls booked for I've got one show in April and then a second show in June. So in the meantime, it would be hopefully getting to do the April show, and it'd be good enough that it sells out the remaining tickets for the June show.
Yeah.
And then just trying to get back to gigging and just getting like blowing off the cobwebs and stuff, because it's just because there's no real, I've kind of got to the stage. This sounds depressing, but it's not. I'm not. Don't worry. Where I'm not going to make any fucking plans until I know when I'm allowed to travel again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because at the minute it feels like me, like any sort of real goals I have for stand up, it feels like when your ma goes, "See when I win the lottery." You know what I mean?
You're like, yeah, all right. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, I think, although I haven't said that, I think like I would like to get back into doing some acting.
oh really? Jesus.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. Like just to
Sorry, didn't mean to be like so surprised.
Jesus, Jesus Christ, really?
Interesting. Fucking hell.
Because it was the thing where like I did quite a bit of that when I was at uni.
Yeah.
And I was decent at it, so I was like, fuck, I wouldn't mind like now that because I did the Ulster Hall in 2019, and that's one of those things where you go when you sell out a venue like that,
Yeah.
kind of like that's a massive thing ticked off the list.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of I would like to sort of do something like that if I could, if it was possible. If anybody's watching this who's booking Dairy Girls.
Oh, at least Mickey's actually like the number one listener on this because
Lisa, I love you.
Listener. Yeah, Lisa.
I could do a good Dairy accent, or how you
yeah, I'm just gonna stop recording. Actually, funny enough, I like put up on like my Instagram to be like, is there anybody any questions or whatever like this? My brother didn't say anything, just went like accents. That's all I commented under it. And I was like, I had to like WhatsApp him afterwards and be like, sorry, I asked for a fucking question here or whatever like this. He's like, just get him to do like Tim McGarry and like that was all that he wanted to come out of this. So I mean, I mean that could be another one. Do you know what I mean? Impersonations, like do you know what I mean? When Tim fucking
that could be the avenue to go down. It's weird. Like, I think people sometimes think I can do impressions, and I can only do impressions of other people doing impressions. You know what I mean? I don't have an ear for them, but because my Tim McGarry impression is actually like Aaron McCann's Tim McGarry impression. You know what I mean? That's me doing Aaron doing Tim. Like, we're fucking Logan. Like, so it's so fucking like I don't know, and I think there's a goal. I would love to one day learn how to do a good Christopher Walken impression, because I just can't do it. Like that would be if you could nail Christopher Walken, I'd be happy. I'd die happy. Hannah, I'd die happy.
I want to get into acting again. Have actually a fucking career back again, and Christopher Walken impression if there's one going. Like,
I want to be in the Deer Hunter reboot.
You and me both, Jesus Christ. I know. Oh god, but it's like hilarious. I used to have like I don't even know if I have on these wee questions I like set out shit beforehand, but I used to have this one where I'm like, so like tell us like what's your day to day up to like at the moment, and I've just decided to cut it out in the last couple of like interviews I've done, because I realized how depressed people get being like, yeah, well, like I mean, when the postman comes around, like, that's pretty much a fucking highlight. Like,
I know. I've got to the point where like my routine's gotten so fucking like I'll wake up, have a shite, have breakfast, have another shite because I'm bored.
just for the thrill of it.
just for something to touch me. And then it's like, which one of these books will I not read today because I haven't got the attention span anymore? Like, what TV show should I put on in the background while I have a nap? Like,
oh fucking hell! Like, yeah, I mean, you're preachers to the choir here. Like, we're like stuck in like a 5K like radius. Like that's like only as far as you're allowed to go around, and like when I say there's only so much that you can like go for like a fucking walk and a coffee before you literally want to jump into like the canal and be like,
Man.
this might be it. Like, do you know what I mean?
I try to do a thing where I'm trying to work out and lose a bit of weight. So like, I'm just in my back garden with a skipping rope, and I'm like, this is fucking. I've been doing it long enough that I'm like my cardio is improved. So now I'm just bored. It's not even like I'm just bored like that. Like, yeah. Then I'm
bored
like,
jigging, all right, rolling your eyes.
I'm bored, and I'm like, the whole time I'm just thinking, what bit of my body have I not put on Instagram yet? And it's just the cock and balls. I'm like, all I'm doing now is like staving off actually getting my dick out on the internet.
I mean, we all have our dreams here, do
I know, yeah. One of your life goals is to get my dick on the internet. Not in a sexual way, just when people laugh. You know what
I mean, they've already canceled you once. Can they do it again?
Exactly that.
But I suppose before we end it off, I thought we'd do a quick I tried to like jot out like some wee words like as we were going along here, do some like a little word association game with you.
Right,
just
okay.
like send it off at a good point because I'm trying to spice it up.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Now the words I have came up with, like I really probably should have done a bit more research before this, but I was trying my best and it was a bit hard. Okay, so don't be judging too much on it. Like some of these you may recognize from the points that we've been talking about earlier. Like,
Gotcha.
So you're like, yeah, I'm fucking riled up to go. Right, but if like the only 5, so just whatever comes to mind, just first reaction, just give it your initial thoughts, just whatever happens, all right?
Okay.
And then I'll let you away, like, because I feel like I'm just like talking shit to you now. Right, first and foremost, Lurgan.
Big dick in a toilet.
Connor Keys.
Big dick in a toilet.
That's it. Thanks so much, Mike. No, McGee.
Fucking I didn't books.
Maury Park.
Chicken.
Dun stories.
That fucking bitch Mary. That was her name, Mary. I've been thinking Mary, the fucking assistant manager bitch. Mary, if you're listening to this, you're a bitch, Mary.
Black box.
Theater.
Potato. Chips.
Waffle.
And finally, of course, because I've just butchered this fucking one, Finnterviews. Like.
Finnterviews, hilarious. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Swipe up for the link.
Oh Jesus, no, here, seriously, man, like, thank you Ozzy for coming on. I'm aware that like I fucking just send out random like Instagrams to people and be like, "Here, you want to like talk to me on the internet?" And like I have no premise that anybody is ever actually going to reply to any of them. And like honestly, I do miss you. You're like, thank you for, fucking deciding to spend your Monday evening with
anytime. It was a fucking pleasure.
Well, you should see me on a Friday evening.
Can't do my quiz.
But I mean, in the off chance, in the rare chance, this is my little like ego boost at the end of this. In the off chance that somebody's found me, found you from coming through me, imagine. Where can they kind of keep up with you, see whatever you're doing next, and potentially see a nude in the near future?
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. It's the only social media I still have, so I don't have Twitter or any of those other ones.
Oh, that'd be great. Whenever I'm doing like the wee bio for like the podcast, that just means I have one thing to do.
Exactly, yeah. I think everyone should get rid of Twitter. It's just a fucking mental health problem. Says the man who's like, when can I get my dick out on the internet? Yes,
can't monetize on Twitter. Fuck's sake.
Exactly. I'll do it on Patreon. But yeah, if you check me out, just Micky Bartlett on Instagram, and then the Deck Chair and Yums podcast. If you want to listen to that, we're on Patreon and stuff. If you want to give us money, and. Yeah, just Google in general. Like the Ulster Hall shows are on sale now, so if you want to come check those out, I'd be more than happy to see you there.
Oh Jesus, mate! We'll be
go out and get down, tether and a laugh. We like a pint or something anyway.
Well, thank you. I'll try not to fucking botch that one anymore. But no, here, honestly, thanks so much. And here, go have yourself a lovely evening. And yeah, honestly, wish you the best luck in the future because fucking one of my most enjoyed stand-ups anyways. Like, so don't be going doing anything silly.
Right, you.
Jesus Christ, sorry.
Not
That's
leather.
what sorry, what the fuck is that? Way to end a podcast, maybe like don't kill yourself.
Don't fucking tell me what to do.
But here, sir, thank you very much. All right, I'll see you later.
All the best to you.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Finnterviews. If you'd like to support the podcast, please do remember to give us a like, share, subscribe, and a 5-star rating on whatever listening platform you're on. Honestly, all that stuff really does help. As well, if you have any suggestions on who you would like to hear on the podcast next, you can get in touch. I'm on socials on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Finnterviews, Finnterviews Podcast, and Finnterviews Pod. Basically, if you type in Finnterviews online, you'll find me somewhere, and you can let me know who you would like to hear next on the show. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll chat to you later. Bye.